Hello, folks, and welcome to another one of these. Are becoming daily, aren't they? This really is becoming a daily thing. It is another Coffee with Kev. I have my cup of coffee ready. As the title of this stream suggests, we're probably going to be discussing around a specific topic tonight. So if you've got any questions on that kind of stuff, feel free to fire away with those in a second. I'm wondering why we're not showing us live. Hold on. Have I done that thing again where I don't make the video public? I have. I've done it not public again. YouTube needs to stop doing that as standard. It's very silly. Right, it should fire up and go public any second now. And we'll get a little busier. We like it nice and busy. Let's just make sure that the stream is fully functioning on the channel now. If I just jump over onto the main page of the channel, and we can make sure we're all set up over there. Right, we seem to be making noise. We seem to be working properly. That's all positive stuff. Excellent. There you go. We are officially up and running. Apologies for the slight false start again. Anyone who was in right at the beginning. As you could probably guess, I did the microphone cable today, so I don't know if that would make it really, really quiet. People saying can't hear me. Hold on a second. There is a potential solution. One moment. What is my audio thing called? I'm trying to fix the audio now. Anyone who can hear me saying that, let everybody else know that that's what I'm doing. For those who it is coming through really quiet, and I don't know why. Let's try and push that. I don't know if that's made has that made a difference, or does that just make my computer louder? I think that just makes my computer louder. Or did I just come really loud for a second there? Hopefully you can hear me. I'm very quiet. We'll fix the audio. I can't remember what my audio interface thing is called, so I can't open the software for it. What is my audio interface called? Does anyone know what audio interface I own? And I can open up the software. Don't mind me. I am coughing a little bit. It's hay fever. I promise it's hay fever. I can't remember what my audio interface is called, and that is a big problem. Let's move the microphone right up there and see if that if I shout into. I can't shout. Audient ID. That might be it. ID. There we go. Right, we're getting there now, I think. I am just going to fiddle with the settings on this just for a second. I apologise for those of you who are in just ready to get chatting, but why does that look like it's not even working? It must be working. What? I don't understand what's going on. Is this making it any louder? It's not, is it? Why so quiet? Right, here we go. We're pushing the volume up a little bit, I think. Has that made me louder? No. How do I make it louder? How do I make it louder? How do I make it louder? I genuinely don't know how to fix this problem. Does that give me a boost? Oh, have I just made myself louder there? I might have just figured out how to make myself a little bit louder. I think I just gave myself a little boost, which might have helped. Please, I'm trying to turn the microphone up. I love the fact there's people saying, please turn the microphone up. That's literally what I'm trying to do. I'm fine now. Erin says I'm fine now. Can we hear? I hope we can hear. I think I have turned the volume. I'm not going to shout because I'm sat in my garage and that's mad. But I think I've made it a little bit louder. I don't know why it's very odd that all I've done is changed the cable on my microphone, and that seems to have made me much quieter. I don't know why it would do that. Does that make me louder? I need to learn how to use all this stuff, really, but I don't. I haven't got the foggiest idea how this all works. But I think we're a little bit louder. I wonder if I just turn up the gain slightly on there. Does that make me louder as well? If I bump up the gain, that might add some interference. I hope it doesn't. If it does, I can fiddle with that again another time. But I think I've bumped the gain up a little bit on my... Right, we're there. Excellent. Sorry that took so long, boys and girls. If it starts to clip out and get distorted, let me know and I'll fiddle with it some more. This wasn't supposed to be a stream that was just a sound check. We are streaming with a purpose, as shown by the title of the video. Or the stream, I guess. So this is going to be another one of our little... they're quickly becoming daily. I don't know that they're going to be fully daily, but... The idea of these streams is to just kind of check in and I'm getting asked a lot of questions on social media all day long, every day at the moment, about everything that's going on in the world. And I still have to be a little bit careful not to be too specific about it here on YouTube, because YouTube are really funny about it. But I need to... rather than answering everybody individually, which if I had time, I would absolutely do. I would absolutely reply to every message I'm getting on social media, every email I'm getting, but it would be a full-time job replying to all that stuff. So rather than doing it throughout the day, I think my plan for us, certainly for as long as things in the news are changing as quickly as they are at the moment, I'm just going to jump on here for half hour or so every evening and do it all in one go and answer all the questions in one go. And I think tonight I can actually maybe add a little bit of value for you as well, because obviously as a former teacher, I probably have some insight, or not necessarily insight, but things I can add to the conversation about the fact that in the UK, at 5 o'clock today, it was announced that schools are going to be closed from Friday. Well, from close of school on Friday, the schools are closed indefinitely. And we kind of all expected that. But I think the bigger news off the back of that is that in addition to schools being closed, we've also had all of the GCSE and A Level exams that are taking place this summer have been cancelled. And as of yet, there's nothing in place to replace them. So there's obviously a lot of people very worried about their future, their immediate future and their long-term future. They don't know what they're going to be doing next week. They don't know what they're going to be doing in May. They don't know what they're going to be doing next year. And it does have some direct impact on my family as well in a number of ways. And obviously, we've got Anna in her final year of uni. She received confirmation from her university today that they're closing immediately. She can't go. She actually had a presentation to go towards her final grade she was due to present this Friday, which she now can't do. They're looking at ways to maybe do that remotely, but it's looking more likely that she'll have to redo that work as an essay rather than a presentation. She had a practical exam, like a proper crime scene investigation to do, which she's been preparing for months, which she now can't do. So that as also might become an essay. She's got a dissertation to finish and hand in, which, to be fair, a dissertation you can email to someone, I imagine. But she's not going to have the fun of having it printed that everyone else goes through. So there's big repercussions for Anna. Lucy, on the other hand, is in her first year of university. And this is obviously a double disruption for her, because not only is she in her first year of university, but the course she's doing, she's officially employed by the NHS. She's a trainee nurse who is, whilst doing her first year of her degree, is officially, or her training, the degree part doesn't start yet, but it's university training stuff. But she's officially employed by the NHS as a healthcare assistant. So not only is her classroom learning on hold indefinitely in the first year of uni, which is a big blow, she also is caught up in the whole NHS thing and is obviously going to have to do an awful lot of work over the coming months. Thank you to Cameron Farrell for the super chat. I will get into answering some questions shortly. Cameron, how do you think students will get GCSE grades? I'll answer that question in a minute. Andy's a complicated case, because according to the criteria the government put out today, he is a vulnerable child. He has an EHCP, and he has a social worker, and they were the two criteria that were mentioned for vulnerable child status. And vulnerable children apparently are still going to be at school. Now, we don't know what the actual implications of that are until we speak to Andy's school tomorrow. We've actually got a meeting with his social worker tomorrow as well. So we'll find out exactly what the situation is there. Having spoken to his school today, they are finding it very difficult to stay open because of the amount of staff they've got self-isolating. So it might be that even though theoretically Andy should still be in school, there might not be a school for him to be in because they might have to close independently of what the government have said because they just don't have the staff to keep open. So we'll find out more. I'll have an update on that tomorrow. And then Amy, at the start of her GCSEs, she's in year 9, started her GCSEs this year, is potentially going to miss, 4-5 months of school right at the start of her GCSEs, which, although it doesn't have huge implications now, how are they going to take that into account in 2 years when she's doing her exams? The fact that she missed months of the course, albeit right at the start. So lots and lots of stuff going on, lots of implications, lots of stuff we don't know the answer to yet. The question that we had before from Cameron about how do I think students will get GCSE grades, I think the most sensible way to do it is just to give people their predicted grades, which isn't ideal because, and I've had this discussion with people on Twitter already this evening, because hold on, we've got some spam going in. Charlie, I'm putting you in a timeout just because you're spamming the chat. If we could avoid spamming the chat, that would be much appreciated. So I'm just going to time you out for a minute. Looks like we haven't got any mods in tonight, which is a little bit of a shame. Yeah, I think it probably has to be predicted grades, but obviously that's not perfect for everybody because I certainly got far better GCSE results than I was predicted by sort of 2 or 3 grades in every subject. My dad incentivized me with, I think we had an incentive system where for every predicted grade I beat by 1 grade I'd get a £5. If I beat it by 2 grades I'd get a £10. If I beat it by 3 grades I'd get 20 quid. If I beat it by 4 grades I'd get 50 quid. I took him for over £500 on my GCSE results. So for me it would have been disastrous, and there obviously will be people who fit into the same criteria as me. But I honestly can't think of any other way to do it fairly. If kids aren't going to be in school potentially until September, if we go by what the Scottish government have said, I don't know if not expecting is the right way to phrase it, but the Scottish government are strongly hinting that kids might well be off until after the summer holidays, which in Scotland means until August. In the UK, well, in England, not the UK, Scotland are still part of us for now. For now, I'm gonna have to appoint a couple of mods. I think CJ, I see you there. I'm gonna make you a mod. Can you sort out the problems that are going on in the chat, please? So CJ's a name I recognise. Just seeing if there's anyone else who can help you out that I recognise from the chat. I'm not seeing any names. Mr. Willie, Mr. Brightside, I'm making you a mod as well, because again, you're a name I recognise from streams gone past. So if the two of you could just get a hold of it and just stop the spamming, that would be lovely. Thank you. Right, what was I saying? Yeah, I don't see a fairer way to do it other than predicted grades. Theoretically, certainly having been a teacher, by this stage of a GCSE course, we would have been predicting as accurately as we could, because the school, giving you a little bit of inside baseball stuff, the school need that information so that they can start putting their plans together for how many kids are likely to make it into a sixth form, what interventions they need to put in place to try and take any borderline students from a D to a C, or whatever the new equivalent of doing that is. I know they're number grades in GCSE now. Obviously, for A Level students, you need to be predicting as accurately as possible because that's what university offers are made of. And I would suggest university offers will probably just all be done based on they'll all just become unconditional offers, I guess. If conditional offers were put out based on predicted grades and the grades now don't happen, I guess they just have to honour those. The issue there, of course, is that universities traditionally do more conditional offers than they have places available, so they know some people won't qualify. So there's a potential whole can of worms to open there. But yeah, I think teachers, by and large, predict as accurately as they can. I think it would potentially be a mistake to now go back and ask for predicted grades. I think you have to do it on the data you've currently got, because there will be schools that will try and game the system. And I don't think that's fair. I think you need to do it as fairly as possible. And the fairest way possible is look at the data that was most recently updated and try and do it that way. Now, I'm not saying this is how they're going to do it. Obviously, I don't know. There's the potential to try and do some kind of online testing, but it would just be a minefield to do. Delaying everything to later in the year, nightmare. Can't do that. It affects college places, university places, sixth form places, apprenticeship start dates, job start dates. I don't think you can delay anything. I think the only fair way to do it is just go with whatever the predicted grades are. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how it develops over the next few days. Obviously, it is a different situation for Anna being at uni, because her prediction at the moment is a 2-1. But I guess at uni you can just submit stuff digitally and just write essays. So we'll just have to wait and see. It's a really difficult situation. Right, now I've answered that question from Cameron. If anyone else would like to ask questions, usual rules apply. You've got the time it takes me to drink this cup of coffee to ask questions, theoretically, on any topic you want. That being said, I'm going to prioritise questions that are related to the title of the stream, because I guess that's what the majority of people are here to find out about. But if we have a dry moment or two, I don't mind answering some off-topic questions as well. But if you do have a question, make sure you @ me in the question so that I can see it easier. They flash up in red on my screen, so that I can... if you put @Kevin Chapman, they're bright red, they're easier to see. And if you want to absolutely guarantee I'm going to answer your question, you could, of course, do a super chat. It's not required. I'll get through as many questions as possible. But I do promise to answer every single question that comes in via super chat. So if you want to be guaranteed of getting a question answered, there is that as a way through. So let's pick out some of these questions. Do you think they'll use predicted grades or mock results? Well, theoretically, the most recent set of predicted grades data, if mocks have been done, will be heavily influenced by those mocks. So I think it would be a mistake just to go with the results of mocks, because I know sometimes people miss mocks. I know sometimes mocks are not ideal indicators of where a student's going to end up, but they are something that a good teacher, and this is the key, a good teacher will take those mock exams into account when predicting a grade. And I think they're probably more reliable than mocks. And most teachers have a pretty good track record of predicting pretty accurately. Speaking as a former head of department, at this time of year, you're going in for meetings where you're presenting your expected results to like the senior leaders of the school and saying, this is what I expect to get. I'm expecting this many A's, this many A to C's. These are my students who are a little bit borderline. These are the ones who are at risk of failing. And then the school are putting together their own data of, well, who's likely to get 5 A to C's, who's struggling with that, which subjects do we need to prioritise. It's good, accurate data that schools will have been using to predict, to put provision in place throughout this academic year. So predicted grades are the best indicator of what people should be getting. Victoria's World said, I've gone into isolation myself, but schools are closing, but Legoland's Discovery and Sea Life Centres are open. Yeah, it's a strange one, that. I heard, I don't know if this is true, so don't quote me on it, but I heard that Alton Towers apparently opens for the year this weekend, which seems like some unusual timing. Luke says, do you think the football season will be finished by May? It won't be finished by May. I think it will be finished. It won't be finished by May. I mean, to give context to that, these GCSE exams and A Level exams would have been taking place in May and June. So for them to be cancelled now, that's a pretty strong indicator that things are still going to be going on by May and June. Yorkie in the Mill, thank you for the super chat. Hi, Kev. Always appreciate your videos. We'll always happily donate if I catch your live streams to support your work. Keep up the great content. Yorkie, thank you very much. Did you not want to ask a question as well? You could have asked a question. You missed a question opportunity. Abby Samuels is another one who's put a super chat in. Thank you. Can we get our money back on Disney? Theoretically, yes. In practice, it's proving hard because every time I contact, bearing in mind we didn't book directly through Disney, we booked through a travel agent. Almost said estate agent. And to be fair to them, they've got a lot going on. They've obviously got a lot of stuff. But I contacted them earlier in the week and they said, at the moment, we're just dealing with people who are arriving at the parks in March. And I said, okay, that's fair enough. They asked me to contact them again today. So I contacted them today. And the response I got today was, right, we're now dealing with people who are due to arrive at the parks in April. Can you get in touch with us next week, please? So I've now got it diarised Monday morning, back in touch with them. And fingers crossed, we're going for the refund at this point, I think, for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it gives us the flexibility to rebook when we feel ready to rebook. And secondly, if everything really does go wrong, be that Anna not being able to find a job because nowhere's hiring, or something happens and YouTube views or YouTube advertising is down massively, or everyone loses their job and has to cancel their Patreon and their channel memberships, or whatever it might be, we might need that money 3 months down the line, 4 months down the line. So it seems like the responsible thing to do is take the refund, put it in a savings account and not touch it if we can avoid touching it. And if we come out the other side of all this and the money's still there, we can then rebook. But that means we've got the money there to use over the next few months if we need to. And if that means we don't get to go to Disney, then, you know, there's a pandemic going on. Maybe we won't get to go to Disney for a year or two. Joel Morris, thank you for the super chat. How's Andy not taken to not being able to go to the food bank? Andy is really, really struggling at school. You'll see more of this on next week's vlog, obviously. But the last 2 days, he's had meltdowns at school. He's refused to get on the bus to come home. I've had to pick him up from school the last few days. He is really struggling. All of the normal adults that he works with are off sick, self-isolating. So it's a completely different team of adults in the school. They've got collapsed classes. So there's different kids that he's not familiar with. There's different kids on the bus because they're collapsing them, because there's a lot of kids who are off self-isolating as well. And they can't go out at all. So everything about school is completely different. How he gets there is different. What he does while he's there is different. Who he's doing it with is different. What he does, how he gets home is different. What he does when he gets home is different. And then he asks for reassurance about Disney or going to Nottingham, and that's all different. And yeah, he's having a seriously hard time. So yeah, it's not great for Andy at the moment, bless him. Matt Wicks, thank you for the super chat. Hi Kev, love the videos. Don't know what to do as I have underlying medical conditions and I'm getting mixed messages. Matt, the best thing for you to do, I think they published a list on the NHS website of the underlying conditions that should be self-isolating. If you're on that list, you should be self-isolating. Take 2 weeks. Maybe try and talk to a doctor. Maybe I don't know what the best thing to do is. I'm not even sure if I'm on the list or not, because yes, hypertension is on the list and I have hypertension, high blood pressure, but it's treated and I've had it all my life. It's not like it's not a thing that's come on because of lifestyle or anything like that. Although, you know, I am still a fat guy, but I've always had high blood pressure. I have tiny tubes. It's why I'm also susceptible to kidney stones. So I don't know if I'm supposed to be self-isolating. It's not clear. I would very much, Matt, try and speak to someone who might be able to help, which probably isn't me, and just follow the government advice. And if they're telling you, based on your condition, you should be staying at home, you need to be staying at home. Peter Nancaro, thank you for the super chat. I just wish Disney was open. I mean, I can't wish Disney would be open in these circumstances, because obviously in the circumstances, it's better for everyone that it's not open. So I can understand it not being open, but yeah, obviously we wish none of this was going on, but what can we do really? It is what it is. We just have to make the best of it now. Bus Network, thank you for the super chat. Emma Gem, thank you for the super chat. She asks, how will school closures affect Andy? We had this conversation with the deputy head of his school today when we picked him up, because she was explaining just how everything is different and how it's ruining his routine. And she said, if you want to keep him home and self-isolating from tomorrow, you're welcome to do that. The problem with that is that also then messes with his routine, especially if he's potentially going to have 6 months off school, Because that's the really scary thing. If school doesn't go back until September, it's March. Andy will go 6 months without going to school. He is not going to want to go back at the end of 6 months. So for us to keep him there as long as possible, I think is in his best interest. He's still desperate to go to respite this weekend. He's officially at respite this weekend. They're still open as of right now, but I'm pretty sure we're not sending him. But he really wants to go. And again, it's another one of those things that he wants to do. He's expecting to do it. He's been expecting to do it since the last time he went. Whenever he goes, as soon as he gets home, he asks us when he's going back, and he starts counting down the days because he really enjoys it. So he wants to be at school, but then when he gets there, it's different to what he's expecting, and he then doesn't want to be there anymore. So it's going to be anxiety-inducing if he goes. It's going to be anxiety-inducing if he stays home. Same situation with respite. There is, I mean, Anna was in tears about it earlier because there isn't a solution. There is no solution that makes things easier for Andy to cope with, because every single thing about his life at the moment is different and strange and scary, and it's causing anxiety, and we are completely powerless to stop it because it's out of our control. We can't do anything about it. We can't make it better. We can't take him to Nottingham and let him ride on the trams as a reward for. And that's the heartbreaking thing. He keeps saying, if I'm a good boy, when we say no. I need a T-shirt that says, it's not about if you're a good boy, because I'm saying it so much. It's not about if you're a good boy. We can't make these things happen. It's horrible. James Random Vlogs, thank you for the super chat. Let's jump back into a few more questions. If Andy's school closes, will he have work to do at home? That's from CoolCart74. I genuinely don't know. That we haven't even broached that subject yet. I would suggest probably not, because the majority, well, not the majority, it's maybe a 50-50 split between academic work and like independent skills and getting him out into the community stuff. Now, obviously, he can't get out into the community at the moment, which is a big issue. But that's one of the main purposes of school for him at the moment, getting him out there, experiencing the world. I imagine what we'll get is access to some websites. He likes the maths website that they use. He has that on his iPad already. There's another one for phonics and reading and stuff. And there might be some stuff for him to do, but I mean, he's never had a piece of homework in his life. I think it will be a long road and a long battle to get him to do schoolwork at home, because schoolwork is what you do at school, and at home you chill out. And it's been that way for 15 years, and it's going to be tricky. And let's face it, not a particularly high priority. It's hard. Lauren Tell asks, do you think we will go into lockdown? I think it's probably inevitable that we will. It's more a case of when rather than if. But I would expect it to happen. It seems to be happening everywhere else. Once the virus gets to a certain point on the curve, as they keep saying, and when we need to exert more downward pressure, which was the thing from today, wasn't it? I think, if you've seen the press conference. So I expect we probably will go into lockdown at some point, and it will be rubbish. And I'll stream 3 times a day just so I have somebody to talk to. Right, let's pick out a few more. Kia Panda says, if you were Prime Minister, would you have shut the schools? I would, and it's such a cop-out answer, and to make it worse, it's the one that keeps being given as well. But I'm not a doctor. I would have done exactly what the government are doing, or at least what I hope they're doing, what they say they're doing, which is you've got to follow the medical advice. There's a lot of very well paid, very well educated experts who are advising the government on what to do, and I would follow the advice. Now, I hope that's what's happening, but obviously we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. But I don't think anybody, certainly I'm not in a position to make the decision on whether or not it could happen or not, because I don't understand all the repercussions. And I very much doubt there's anybody watching this who could actually make a fully informed decision about whether or not the schools should have closed. Because unless there is a doctor watching who's an expert in infectious disease control, then you might know. But chances are none of us really know. So I guess we'll just have to play it by ear. Robbie Telfer says, what will you get up to in quarantine? Thanks for the super chat as well, Robbie. To be honest, and I've said this a few times on Twitter as well, For me, if you just take me in isolation, obviously there's family impact stuff that means it's not quite as simple as this. But me in isolation, I'm effectively already self-isolating and have been for 3 years. I work from home. I spend all day out on my own in my garage. I only leave the house to go to the gym, which I'm now not allowed to go to, or go to the shops, which again we can get that stuff delivered theoretically, or we just won't be allowed to go to it. So for me, it'll be business as usual as much as it can be. Obviously, it'll have to work around the rest of the family being here a little bit. I probably won't be able to sit out in the garage making videos from 8 in the morning till 8 at night if Anna's got uni work to do and Andy's at home all day. But as much as I can, I'll be carrying on working. I'll be making my Football Manager videos. I'll be streaming. I'll be vlogging, and doing a lot to basically try and keep things as normal as possible. I hope that I'm in quite a lucky situation of my job I can carry on doing at home. As long as I've got an internet connection and YouTube still exists, I can just carry on doing what I do indefinitely without the need to leave the house or have anyone hire me or book me or agree to pay me. I can just keep putting my videos online, and as long as the adverts are still there, I'll keep getting paid. So I need to try and maintain that as long as I can. Obviously, it becomes a little bit different if I actually get ill, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, I guess. Right, we'll pick out see Jack's in now. Now we get a mod turn up. Eleanor asks, where is Andy now? Andy is currently, what time is it? He's in the bath, getting ready to get into bed. Again, if you've got a question you want me to answer, the best way for me to see it is to @Kevin Chapman. I see there's a lot of, if you want to chat amongst yourselves, by all means do that, but I'm pretty much ignoring every comment that isn't directed at me with an @ sign. Or if you want to guarantee that I can read out your question, super chat is the way forward. But yeah, I'm going to pick out a few more of these red ones that pop up on my screen. Did I hear about the charity match on May the 23rd? I did. I was going to be a part of it as well, but apparently now it's not happening. If it's the one I'm thinking about, anyway. I got an email from my manager like an hour ago saying, yeah, it's not happening after all now, which is a shame, obviously, because it would have been awesome. Is Andy at respite now? No, Andy's at home. He's due at respite this weekend, and I'm pretty sure we're not sending him, but we'll have to see. Maylee says, is my dad at risk? And if so, what will I do? I mean, he's not over 70. He does have high blood pressure, just like I do. But other than that, I mean, I guess he's not really at any more risk than I am. So I don't necessarily feel like I need to do anything at the moment. Again, unless we're told otherwise. Right, let's have a few more thoughts on Mania being behind closed doors. Oh, it's going to be awful. Going to be awful. How did Andy react to the Disney situation? He hasn't fully processed it yet. He's not happy, but he just keeps on asking. How long will we be off school? So asks Archie. That's the big question, isn't it? And there's no way of knowing. It really depends. Again, it's got to be the scientists and the doctors who make that decision. But I would suggest that if we've already decided A Levels and GCSEs aren't happening, and the medical advice is it's better to not be at school until it's all blown over, I don't see much benefit in going back before September. What would be the point of going back at the end of June? Unless the plan is we're going back at the end of June and there's no summer holidays this year, you've already had it. But I think that would be, as well as maintaining health and maintaining financial stability, there's also a little bit of maintaining the morale of the country. And I think the last thing you want to do after we've all suffered through months of worrying about our jobs, worrying about our health, worrying about our livelihoods and our homes, the last thing you want to do is, just as things are starting to recover, say, right, no summer holidays then, back to work, back to school. You can do 20 weeks in a row. So I would, if I was a betting man, which I am not, but if I was a betting man, I would put money on us not being back at school until September. That would be my guess. But again, I have no secret information. I don't know. I'm merely speculating. Everyone could be back after Easter for all I know. Who knows? As Paul's daily chat says, they're saying August. Certainly in Scotland, they're saying August because they go back to school in August. which if you extrapolate that to England, we go back in September. So I'd expect us to go back in September. Bill Sherman says, hey, Kev, could we see a gym routine at one point? It's not going to be any time soon because I'm not allowed to go to the gym until all this is blown over. So no, is the honest answer. And to be fair, it's a very busy gym and you're not allowed to film in there. So unless I got permission somehow to do that, then there's not really any way to film it anyway. And there's a big sign on the door saying use of mobile phones is prohibited, which I'm going to assume extends to filming yourself doing your workout. So yeah, I don't think it's likely to happen anytime soon. That being said, in next week's weekly vlog, there is a section of me and Anna doing a workout that we did because we couldn't go to the gym. There's a whole load of like outdoor gym equipment at the dog walking park near where we live. So we went and did a workout on that, and we did film that because we were out in the middle of a park and no one else was around. So we didn't see a reason not to. Kian Harvey, thank you very much for the super chat. Have you heard the statement from McDonald's? And if so, how severely do you think this will impact on Andy's routine? What statement from McDonald's are we talking about? I know McDonald's are no longer allowing people to eat in the restaurant, which is another thing that's upsetting Andy because that's how he likes to eat is McDonald's. So we can't even take him to McDonald's as a reward for coping with stuff. I know they're doing the little exclusion zone boxes on the floor for people to stand in when they're ordering. If something else has happened with McDonald's, then I don't know about it. So if it was one of those, yes, I have seen it. Right, lots more questions flying in. Yusuf asks, can I post this as a video? It won't be fully on the channel as a video. However, if you go to the channel homepage and scroll down a bit, you'll see there's a playlist called live stream replays, and all of the live streams live in there as unlisted videos. All that really means is they don't pop up in people's sub boxes, but if anyone really wants to find them, they can go and find them on that playlist. So if you want to watch this as a video afterwards, then yeah, you can go and watch it down there, homepage, and you'll find it from there. How's calorie counting going? Catherine, if I'm really honest, it's kind of been put on the back burner at the moment, which I know it's an excuse, but I don't really have a good explanation. We walk around Tesco and there's no food there, and we literally just have to buy what there is. And it's very high. Yes, I could still be counting that, and I should still be counting that, but we're just kind of, I think there's enough going on. We're comfort eating a little bit, I guess. I suggest I will come out of quarantine in a few months' time, a little bit fatter than I went in, and we'll figure it all out again from there. I think it's difficult to motivate myself to eat right when I can't also go to the gym, because for me, the thing that was really motivating me to eat well was the improvements I was seeing in the gym. My weight's going up, my strength increasing, and if I can't go to the gym and see those improvements and those gains there, I'm really not very motivated about eating. I don't want to get skinny. I want to get fit and healthy, and it's all part of the same package. So I think that whole project, the 12 diets for 2020, that might kind of be put on hold while all this is going on, because I feel a little bit uncomfortable releasing a video that no one's going to care about at the moment because they've got bigger things to worry about. Like, we've got the waking up at 5 a.m. video, which theoretically is coming out this Friday, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to come out because I just don't think it's the right time to release a video like that. It just feels like if I saw someone else releasing something like that, my reaction would be, so what? Who cares? Maybe I'm wrong. Jevin says, hey Kev, how's Anna getting on with her degree? She was going lovely until all the goalposts were moved this evening, and now she's in panic mode. The coffee is gone, so we'll do 5 more questions. But yeah, we're out of coffee, so we are in the end times for this stream. I am going to be streaming on Twitch, not straight after this, but probably 10-15 minutes after this stream finishes. I'm going to fire up Civilization 6, and I'm going to be on Twitch for a few hours. If anyone just wants a chilled out, taking their mind off everything that's going in the world stream, I'll be over there. But we'll do 5 more questions here before I go, and then I'll almost certainly be back doing this again tomorrow and most days. Certainly, like I said at the start of the stream, certainly while everything is moving so quickly and everything's changing so quickly, I'm going to be streaming most days, because if I didn't do this, the weekly vlog would be about 3 hours long, and by the time it comes out, the first half hour of it would all be out of date stuff. So a lot of the stuff that would be talking to camera bits that would go in that vlog are probably just going to be in the form of these streams instead, and the vlog will be ideally a little bit more tightly edited. We'll see, I guess. But yeah, that's my thinking. So certainly make sure you subscribe, notifications on, so you know when these things happen in future, and follow me on Twitter because I announce it all on there. But we will do 5 more questions, so let's pick out 5 good ones that I haven't already answered. Do I think everyone will be delayed a year like year 11 does year 11 again? No, I don't think that will happen. I think the knock-on effect of that would be seriously problematic, because it's not as simple as just getting year 11 to do it again. Because then what do the current year 10 do next year? Do you have a double size year 11? Who teaches them? How do you mark all those exams? How do you administer all those exams? The infrastructure is not there. So I think the current year 11 there's just going to have to be something else in place for them. There's no way to push it all back a year. It just doesn't work. Because then also what happens in 2 years' time when there's a whole year of university applications and no one's going because they've all missed it? Yeah, it would break everything for years to come. There has to be another way around it. Ben, my Twitch channel is lollujo, twitch.tv/lollujo. Beth asks, why is Lucy already in uni and how is she coping? Because she applied and got in, and she's doing all right. Obviously, again, similar to Anna, until all this kicked off. 3 more questions. Is social services going to come again? With social service, we work very closely with social service. Stream Deck's not working. If I turn those massive lamps off, you'd see that I'm not reflecting light anymore. It's literally the fact that I've got 2 super powerful lamps shining into my head that makes me look sweatier than I am. I promise. Look, I can wipe it and it still looks shiny. It's the lighting. Right. Where do we get to? What do I think about rationing? I don't think it's going to happen. I think if it did, Andy would end up in hospital because he wouldn't be able to follow a rationed diet. And there's no reason to ration because there's plenty of food. It's just not getting to shops quickly enough at the moment. But there's no logic behind rationing, because then all rationing will achieve is loads of wasted food. And even if you walk around the shops, the kind of stuff that traditionally gets rationed, there's no shortage of. Certainly the last time I walked around a shop, there's still loads of fruit and veg and fresh meat and dairy products and all the kind of stuff that you'd expect to get rationed. It's all there in plentiful supply. I don't know if that's changed in the last day and a half since I was last wandering around a shop, but the only stuff that they're short of is stuff like toilet roll and baked beans and soap. Which, yeah, I can see that stuff. It would make sense for that stuff to be rationed. But, yeah, the actual stuff that you'd normally ration, if everyone should just be eating paleo for a couple of weeks, because the food's there. Just eat fresh produce, folks. It's healthier. It will help your immune system. You're less likely to get it if you have a banana and an apple every now and again. Black Cherry asks, are Amy and Lucy in my brother's wedding? They are. And I guess, I don't know, that's August. Who knows whether that'll even happen. Hayden asks, will you go back to daily vlogging in the house during this outbreak? I haven't decided yet. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I let you all behind the curtain a little bit to say the plan all along was to do a month of daily vlogging again in April, which is now looking increasingly likely that we're not going to leave the house very much at all in April. So I don't know if we'll daily vlog. I think what we might end up doing is carrying the weekly vlog through and just carrying on doing more of this live stream stuff, because I don't know. I'm not sure. We've got a couple of weeks to decide. Spooky Skeleton says, couch to 5k again or not at the gym? I can't. My knees are far too broken for couch to 5k. We're going out, and Anna's dragging me on dog walks with Dave, so I'm being roped into all that now. We've got the gym equipment at the park we can work on. I've got DDP yoga I could do. I've got that ring fit thing on the Switch that I could do. There's exercise I can do in the house, but ultimately the thing I enjoy most when it comes to exercise is lifting weights. So unless I get a weight bench to set up in my garage, it's all sort of on hold. And I think probably as it should be. There's bigger things to worry about than me getting my beach bod at the moment. Because let's face it, I'm probably not going to a beach this year. Right, 2 more questions. What's the name of the WWE figure in the background? That is Stone Cold Steve Austin. That wasn't a question, though. That doesn't count. Lynx fan says, I've been shopping and there's been no eggs and no 1 pint whole milk. The 1 pint whole milk thing is weird, because why would people stockpile in the smallest quantity? If you rather than buying all of the 1 pints, why not just buy a 6 pint thing? I don't understand people. No eggs is a bit of an odd one, because do people know how eggs work? What are they doing? I'm going to buy 400 eggs, fill my pantry with them, and then if we can't go out for a month, I've got all these eggs to eat. I think I might have to do an informational video to explain to people how eggs work. People are so dumb. Right, 1 more question. Let's pick out a really good one. Oh, there you go, Dave. Dave Beasley's got the best question. Any tips on working from home in the company of children? Yeah, you're not gonna like it. The biggest tip is if you've got to get on with your work, try and find a place where they're not, which is obviously not something that everybody can do. Not everybody has spent 3 years turning their garage into an office that they can escape into and have a bit of peace and quiet and crack on with some work. So I think it probably just needs to be a case of working out what works best for your family and what your living arrangements are. So if that means setting up a little desk and chair in your bedroom and nipping up there while you stick a movie on for the kids to watch downstairs, or stick them on the PlayStation, or maybe adjusting your work schedule so you're with the kids during the day, and then maybe you get your work done in the evening and have more of your sort of typical evening chill out time during the day when you're with the kids, and then sort of switch into work mode when they're in bed, which I guess there might not be enough hours in the day to be able to do that. Or if there's 2 of you at home who both need to work from home, you might just have to do it in shifts. So perhaps do a couple of hours each at a time, then swap. So one of you goes away and does your work. And this is all stuff that I think employers are going to have to be flexible on, and not expect people to be able to work from home and knock out a 9 to 5, because that's just not realistic. Working from home and 9 to 5, they don't go together. You've just got to be disciplined with yourself to work when you have the opportunity to, and realistic enough to accept that sometimes there'll be interruptions and there's not a lot you can do about it. And that's the big thing that I've learned over 3 years of doing this. And I've managed to work from home during summer holidays when the kids have been at home, and I know I always try and have a little bit of time off at Christmas, but most half terms, Easter holidays, sicknesses and stuff, I still get my videos out. I still get at least 1 video out every single day. And it sometimes involves being sat out here until 2 a.m. and not getting much sleep that night, and maybe dozing on the sofa while the kids watch Frozen for the 800th time, to catch up on some of the sleep that you missed out on the night before. But there's ways to balance it. There's ways to figure out how it's going to work for you. But it's not something that you can just wake up Monday morning and, right, this is how we're going to manage this. It's kind of, you've got to figure it out as you go and work out what the pattern of your day looks like. Is there a particular point of the day when the kids are particularly active and need to burn off some energy, compared to a portion of the day when maybe they're happy to sit and watch TV or play games or something? It's something we can talk about more maybe in tomorrow's stream, because I think it is a very good question. But we are going to wrap things up there, because my coffee is all gone and I'm thirsty, and if I don't have another drink, I'm going to start coughing, and you're all going to think I've got the thing that must not be named. So thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you to everybody who contributed via Super Chat. That kind of stuff is going to be more helpful than you could possibly imagine in the coming months, with all the uncertainty around money and jobs and stuff. Knowing that there's people out there who are offering their support to a silly old self-employed renting creator like me, who I'm like, when they're on the news and they talk about the groups that are currently being ignored, well, it's mainly the self-employed and people who rent, and I'm like, yep. I had a letter from my landlord today, or an email from my landlord today. I thought, oh wow, they're going to tell us they can let us off rent for a little while, and it was literally just make sure you tell us if you get any symptoms, so we know not to come round. Thanks for the support, guys. But yeah, thank you lot genuinely for the support. I'll be back tomorrow, and yeah, wash your hands and stuff. Stay safe, folks. Toodle pip. Bye.